like a criminal undercover. Don't pop like trouble, breaking into your heart like that. Cool shade stunner, yeah, owe it all to my mother. Hot like summer, yeah, I'm making you sweat like that. Break it down.
Welcome back to the Duder Podcast. We were just talking off the air with Coach Holden of Wayne Trace, and Elvis claims to be the good-looking one of the podcast. I think it might be a tie for first between the two of us, but we'll just kind of leave that debate for another time when we don't have football to discuss.
Let's have a Twitter poll.
I think you got tied for second.
I think Coach Holden's got us beat. I can't see what he looks like, but he probably has us beat.
In what is quite possibly the biggest Wayne Trace move in the history of the Duder Podcast. Coach Holden doesn't have a webcam hooked up, so we can't see him. Chances are he's probably throwing up middle fingers at us already, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and just act like he isn't. Again, welcome back to the Duder Podcast, week 4 of the Green Meadows Conference football preview. Our 6th coach out of 8 that we were able to get lined up for tonight, Coach Matt Holden in his first year at Wayne Trace. Welcome to the podcast, Coach.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
We are not incredibly serious. We're not very serious journalists. Actually, believe it or not, none of us have questions prepared. We're winging it. So
no, I got a lot for him because I did my homework on him. I was bullshitting you guys.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
I know.
I figured as much.
Full disclosure, Matt, Elvis works at Goodrich, so he's got the lowdown. He's always got the skinny on what's going on in your neck of the woods.
All right, sounds good.
So, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the GMC. Can you tell us a little bit about your team? That I wasn't able to read from Lynn Grohl's magazine.
Okay, well, we're pretty young. Got some good senior leaders. It's a small group. I got 7 of them. But other than that, we're pretty young. So been working through that the off season. But from when I started in March until now, the team has grown quite a bit in terms of being able to work together. Like to be around each other, and then pick up the intensity in the weight room, which is really where I worked with them from March until now. And so it's been good to see that growth with those guys.
Coach, what kind of offense you going to run? You going to stick with the same stuff? Are you going to bring anything from your time at Bluffton University to the Raiders program?
I can't say that I'm bringing anything directly from Bluffton, but kind of that style, I guess, is what we're going to run, and more of the college style of spread. Where you're going to run the ball, but also take what the defense gives you, maybe some RPOs thrown in here and there, that type of thing.
What kind of defense you going to run?
Defensively, my philosophy is a 4-3. It's what I've come to love. There's just a lot of things you can do with it, so that's what I'll be running. If you hear anything in the background, that's my girlfriend. She dropped something over there. So.
Was it a white claw? Was it a white claw she dropped back there?
It was not a white claw. No. She did spill a mojito though. So.
Oh boy, no good.
Damn, no good. I'm good. I could smell it. I could smell it from here.
Coach, how are you looking at? Go ahead, Scott.
Go ahead, Stevie. No, Stevie, go ahead, buddy.
How are you looking for numbers this year on your team?
Pretty good. I think we're sitting right around 47. So it's pretty good numbers. I'd like to grow it. I want it to be the biggest group, absolutely, at the school. So it probably still is, but I want more. Get more of these young men and even women. I don't care, interested in joining the team. If you're tough and you want to play ball, let's play ball.
Yeah, that's some good numbers.
I'm just reading here, Coach Holden, 2012 graduate of Crestview. Man, you're a youngster.
Yeah. Yep.
We can't tell because we can't see you, but man, you're a youngster.
Yep, only 27.
He's the same age as Brody Flagel. Holy cow.
Yeah. We got a lot of young coaches in GMC. That's great.
This is nice. Wow. Go ahead, Elvis.
Coach, I'm gonna go back to your Bluffton days. What was your favorite time of being a DB?
My favorite time of being a DB,
Like a pick six or a scoop and score? Or...
probably the coolest thing that I got to do that ended up not winning the game. I really thought I sealed one. It was week 1 of my senior year. We were playing Wilmington, and there's around 2 minutes left in the game, and the offense is driving down, and I just see the slot receiver and the quarterback look at each other, and I was in man coverage, and I was like, okay, I'm lined up inside. This dude's running an out, and jump the out route, get a pick with 2 minutes left. Then we ended up having to kick the ball away on offense, and they ended up scoring on our other corner at the end of the game to lose. So I thought it was the coolest thing. You know, we were going to steal it away with that pick, and then we gave it away.
Oh, really? Now
Yeah.
you're a 3-year starter there?
2 years. 2 years. I played a
Okay.
lot as a sophomore, but 2-year starter. Yep.
Okay. My the guy that told me he was kind of iffy on if you're a 2 or 3-year starter.
Yep. Nope. I got a lot of time, but didn't start. There was a good senior in front of me.
Coach, it says here, and I'm just kind of quick glancing here at the at Lynn Grohl's Black Swamp football. You're listed as the defensive coordinator. So are you a defensive specialist then?
Yeah. Yep. That's kind of what I've settled into. At Crestview, I got to take over my second year as an assistant coach, as the defensive coordinator.
Wow.
So that's kind of what I've been rolling with for a while now.
Hey, Coach, what would be a great season for you guys this year, being a first-year head coach? If you look back at the end of the year, and what would be a successful season for you guys?
If you want to go with, I guess the more typical answers, I really want to, goal number 1 for me and our team is to win the conference. I know that we're young, but we've got that aspiration. And if that doesn't pan out, we still got our playoff hopes alive. That'd be another one. So those are the 2 big goals for us, our win conference and making the playoffs and make a good playoff run this year.
All right, let's segue into that. What do you think about the expanded playoffs?
For me, it's kind of, I don't know. I can see people that don't like it and are upset. I can see their point. I think there was at one point a 12-team playoff that was proposed that I thought I kind of liked how that model was, where the first 4 teams or the top 4 seeds got a bye, and then the last 8 kind of played it out the first week to see who was worthy, I guess, of taking those guys on. But I kind of like that model. But I've also been on teams where you're sitting at 5-5, you don't quite make it in, but you didn't hit your stride until week 4, 5, 6, 7 of the season. And so at that point, you've got a good team after week 10 and you didn't quite make it in. So I can see teams like that making good playoff runs. I think people are worried about the week 1 blowouts, but I think that's going to happen regardless, personally.
Yeah.
Coach, what's your biggest challenge coming into a new school as a first-year head coach?
Biggest challenge so far for me has just been, I guess, instilling the new concepts and the new, not even just offense, defense, special teams that are football related, but the new concepts that I have for culture and weight room and, how hard you have to work outside of the football field in order to be successful. So that's just been the biggest challenge. And personally for me, it's been stepping into the head coaching role and all of the paperwork and forms and stuff that I never had to deal with, because Jared Owens, he was very good about doing all that himself. And I never had to see it. So there's a lot more than what I thought, but it's been good so far.
So you were an assistant under Coach Owens who left Crestview. Were you interested in that job upon him leaving, or?
I think absolutely I was interested. It was, it's where I played. It's where I went to school. So there was definitely interest. It just didn't work out that way. So.
How much flack did you get? Because Crestview and Wayne Tracy is a very big rival. Did you get any flack from your buddies?
Oh yeah, it's been all in good fun. People in both communities have been really good. They've treated me really well, but there's definitely been some jokes both sides, and it's pretty funny.
You guys have the same colors, aren't
Yeah. So,
So-
people are like, hey, you get to keep all your clothes. And I'm like, well, the logo is still not the same. So I get this stuff.
they? Just
close.
put duct tape over it. Hey, Coach, why don't you give us a little lowdown on your scrimmages this year? How'd you guys fare?
So our first scrimmage, we scrimmaged against Genoa. And I thought we came out slow. And there were just things that when we looked at it on film, I thought leaving the place, I was like, oh my gosh, what just happened? That was not great. When we looked at it on film, it was just stuff that we had talked about, leading up to that scrimmage. Hey, if we tweak this, guys, look at what would happen. If we do this small thing right, this is what can happen. And then all those things that we pointed out in film, we saw growth this past Friday against Evergreen. So we're taking big strides in correcting the things that are correctable. And luckily, all of the things that went wrong in both of our scrimmages are they're fixable. It's not like we just can't physically do it. So that's the thing. If you got to correct something, at least it's correctable. So yeah, and then sorry, our Evergreen scrimmage, we came out and we played much better Friday. The only area that I wasn't pleased with was our kicking game. So that'll be a work in progress for this week.
So you open up this week with at home with Fort Recovery.
Yep.
What do you know about them? What do you expect to happen Friday night?
At Crestview, we always scrimmaged Fort Recovery, so I have a little bit of a history of playing against them, at least in some capacity in the past. And from what I've seen on film, they like, running. They're a zone running team. So offensively, they're going to run, inside zone, outside zone stuff. But they're not going to, I think, any good offensive coordinator is not going to sit there and try and pound the rock against a 7-8 man box. So they're pretty good at using play action to open the running game up a little bit too. So I think they're pretty smart on offense, and defensively, they're aggressive, and they'll just make you have better guys or make your guys, be better than them to beat them. So I think they run a 4-3 like us, but they do it a little bit differently. They run a little bit more man than I'm accustomed to.
What's your favorite aspect of your team going into week one, Coach?
I think it's just the different options that we have, on offense, and seeing the depth at the skill positions, offensively and defensively, and seeing how these kids step up. I'm very confident in 3 or 4 different receivers. If one of them's getting tired, we can rotate one in and not lose a step. So from that, I'm very happy and very excited about seeing what those kids do with the opportunity on Friday night.
Coach, I asked the other coaches this question, so I'll ask you the same thing. How do you keep 14 to 18-year-old young men mind on the task week in and week out? Is there anything special you do, or?
I think it's just keeping things moving. I try to, in practices, not have like a very long period, like a team period that goes 30 minutes. That's too long. Doesn't hold anybody's attention span. So it's just breaking stuff down, making it high tempo, upbeat, and switching, from one thing to the next in a way that can hold the interest more. So I'm a little bit nervous about our first official scouting report session tomorrow, seeing how that goes with holding the attention span of these 14 to 18-year-olds, but we'll see how that goes.
Who's more excited about Friday night, the kids or you?
I'm not sure. I got a lot of energy. I love Friday nights. So there's a lot of them that were pretty surprised when we had our Evergreen scrimmage. I'm racing kids down the sideline on big plays. Like I'm that kind of coach. So I love it. But they're definitely excited. I won't lie to you. They're more excited than I am, but my energy's up there too.
Well, you got to probably keep it to yourself though, but yeah, either way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you bring any Crestview kids with you to Wayne Trace?
Nope. Didn't bring anybody with me. It was just me. So
Nope.
Any
no
coaches
coaching.
you brought with you?
nope, no coaches, nothing.
So you got there, and did you keep any staff that was already there?
I did. Yep. 2 of the guys were already on the high school staff, Tyler Iwinski and then Austin Spees. So they both stayed on with me. And then I brought up Devin Wenslick. He was on the junior high staff, and I brought him to the high school staff.
Is that Super Dave's kid?
It
That
is.
is-
I was
Oh,
just going to
really?
say, I went to school with Dave Winslick. That's his kid. Yep.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
That
God,
is
we're
who
old.
that is who I got all my information from.
From
That's
Super
awesome.
Dave or the kid?
No, from Devon.
Oh, did you?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
See, Elvis has got Elvis takes he got his region is the southern schools, so he takes care of Paulding County for us.
Gotcha.
If we need
See,
anything in Indiana, Bechtel's our man.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know Dave Blue, but I text him and ask him questions. So, wow.
Hey, coach, you got any superstitions?
I'm actually not a superstitious guy, so I
Are
I
you a
don't
little
care. I don't-
stitious?
maybe just a little stitious, yeah. um, but no, I don't wear the same pair of underwear or anything like that. I don't have any routine that I do. I just, I kind of just trust in the work that we put in and hope that it works.
There's a rumor going around that Doug Billman wore the same pair of underwear for the entire basketball season last year.
Without washing?
Yeah, that's what I heard. Who told me that?
Ooh.
That's
Yeah,
wild.
That's nasty.
It was
That's
Coach
nasty.
Hale. Coach Hale, or it was socks, not underwear. Socks. Still,
Oh, God. Thank you.
Billman's
There's a big
fucking
difference,
nasty.
Scroot. Big
Billman's
difference between
still
underwear and socks.
Billman's nasty.
Big difference.
Coach, what's your outlook on the conference this year? I know you're new, but you're not dumb. What do you see happening?
Well, I really can't speak too in depth about it because, like you said, I'm new. I don't know a whole lot. I know a little bit about Paulding, playing them every year, so I know what they bring to the table. In Hicksville, we played them most years, but just from what I've heard from other people, Tenora's got a lot coming back, so they'll probably be a pretty tough team to beat. We've scrimmaged. Well, we didn't scrimmage. We 7-on-7 against Antwerp. They've got some skill guys. I was impressed with them in our 7-on-7. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see these teams that I haven't gotten to play before. See what they're all about, and see how the conference goes this year.
Hey, coach, were you 4-0 against Hicksville when you played?
I never played against them. Coaching against them, I was
Are you-
never 4-0 against them either. No, we didn't. When I was in school, my week 2 game was LCC, so that was a tough
Okay.
week for us.
Yeah, back then that was a good team.
Yeah, they had Ty O'Connor at quarterback,
Yeah.
and he went to Michigan State, and
Yeah.
Taylor Royster in the backfield went to Bowling Green. They had a lot of good athletes on that team.
Who was LCC's
Well-
coach then?
That'd been Cooper.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's our guest next week.
He's our guest next week.
Yeah, they had.
He coached at Hicksville when we were in school.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah. So
Okay.
against Cooper and LCC, I just was explaining this to the kids last week. I like to bring them random special teams rules, and my sophomore year, I think, they had a punt return and they fair caught it. And after a punt return, if you fair catch, you get the option for a free kick off of a tee. And so Ty O'Connor goes out there, puts his football on the tee, and boots it through the uprights from like 50 yards away, and they get 3 points. And I'm just sitting there like, what just happened? Like nobody knew what happened because it's like the most obscure rule in football. And so Coach Spees pointed out that we were the only team that has happened against in the area. So I'm a good resource for that. But yeah, the free kick rule after a punt return, fair catch. You have to look into that one. I might have described it wrong, but I remember just being so shocked, like what is happening right now?
Huh. I didn't
Wow.
even know that.
You guys got anything else for Coach?
I'm good.
All right.
I
Recty, you
just
got anything?
I'd like to tell him good luck this year.
No,
I
I
appreciate
don't have
that.
questions.
And if you see a weirdo stand on the sideline, it might be me. I don't know
That's
what you
all
look
right.
like. I
We
just know your
accept-
voice.
We accept all weirdos. That is fine.
If you
That's
see
all good.
if you see a couple guys wearing Duder Podcast t-shirts, you'll know it's us.
That's awesome. I'll welcome you guys. I'll introduce myself then.
Can we get a couple Wayne Trace hats, or
I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do for you.
see the first coach that gets us hats is our favorite. So
There we go. I like that.
Still up
I
in the
like
air.
that. I'll get on it.
well, thanks for joining us, Coach. It was great to get to know you a little bit tonight. Again, welcome to the conference. Best of luck to you, except in your Week 5 game. We will be rooting against you that day. Well, at least one of us will be, but
I never know. I might be rooting for him.
All right, hey, I'll take what I can get.
that was Wayne Trace head coach Matt Holden, new to the conference. We thank him very much for coming on tonight. And that's going to wrap up our GMC football preview, Sands, Tenora, and Ayersville. We're going to take a little break. We'll come back. We'll wrap this thing up. You're listening to the Duder Podcast.